When it comes to clay court tactics, there are a few things you have to consider. Number one, the weather conditions affect a clay court much more than they do a hard court. Now, what I'm standing on is called hard true, and this surface is more similar to a hard court than a clay court. So what I'm about to say applies more to the red clay courts that you find in Europe or South America. When the weather is hot, the ball will generally bounce higher on a clay court. When the weather is cold, the ball will generally bounce lower. Now on a clay court, you can actually play through a little bit of rain, something that you cannot do on a hard court because it gets too slippery. And when the weather conditions become wet, the ball becomes extremely slow, and so does the surface. So when it comes to clay court tactics, you have to take the weather into account in how you're going to construct your points. Now, even though there might be some faster clay courts, generally a clay court will always be slower compared to a hard court. So an important tactical consideration to make is patience. You cannot expect that you're going to end the points as quickly as you can on hard court. In other words, the ball will come back a lot more and you will have to hit 2, 3, maybe even 4, 5 winners to win the points. So a lot of players get frustrated. They go for low percentage shots and they make a tremendous amount of errors on clay courts. So patience is of the utmost importance, having the ability to stay in the rallies longer and understanding that it's going to be a lot more difficult to hit winners. Another important consideration is movement. This applies for your own game, but also for your opponent's game. Now, one classic mistake that hard court players do when they get on a clay court is that they don't slide. On a hard true, it's going to be more difficult to slide than on a regular red clay court. But the biggest mistake that players commit is sliding after they make contact with the ball. So they will go up to the ball and set the same way they do on a hard court, and then the momentum of the movement towards the ball will carry them in this direction. They will slide after they have hit the ball. So in other words, they will slide in the wrong direction, which will make the recovery back into the court more challenging. This is why sliding on a clay court is crucial, because it stops your movement. You don't want to slide out after a shot. You want to slide into the shot. Now I have another video that I'm going to link in the description where I explain the differences between a lateral slide and a forward slide. Now regarding your opponent, an important tactical consideration to make is the fact that their footing is going to be more unstable compared to a hard court. So when you attempt to hit a drop shot or an angle shot, the opponent is not going to get out of the blocks quite as fast. So on a clay court, it makes a lot of sense to utilize more drop shots and more angle shots. And most importantly, the surface itself is more inconsistent. And what that means is that when the ball hits a clay court surface, it's going to be more unpredictable compared to a hard court surface. So what does that mean? Well, when you utilize underspin, backspin, topspin, these type of shots are going to be extremely effective on a clay court, because those type of balls will react more on a clay court than they do on a hard court. And the same thing that I said about hard court tactics applies to clay court tactics as well. Do not sacrifice your strengths and weaknesses based on the surface that you play on. While there are some tactical things that you can do on a clay court in comparison to a hard court, which we're going to demonstrate very shortly, keep in mind that you have to understand yourself as a player and generally play a style that's going to suit you best independent of the surface.